This is my Building Leadership Practicum for the Spring 2012 AEP 879. My first slide is my table of contents. I will first talk about my personal introduction. I will also then talk about my goals that I expect to obtain while working through my leadership practicum, give you my administrative philosophy, and I will follow it up with my 25-slide activity log, a summary of reflection, my annotated bibliography, and then finally a signed summative evaluation form by my field advisor, which was my principal at my current school district. Personal introduction. My name is Casey Maransani, and I am 26 years old, male, seeking an administrative degree from Fort Hays State University. My goal is to obtain an administrative position as either a principal or an athletic director. I currently live in Manhattan, Kansas, but I'm willing to relocate to any rural or urban school district and also willing to start out as a building leader at any grade level. I graduated high school from Frontenac, Kansas, which is about 5 minutes north of Pittsburgh, Kansas, which is located in the southeast corner. I attended Fort Scott Community College to play football right out of high school, and then I returned home to Pittsburgh State University, where I received my Bachelor's of Science in Education degree with an emphasis in history government in the fall of 2008. Following the fall of 2008, the next school year of 2008-2009, I took a social studies teaching position at Prairie Heights Middle School in Alta Vista, Kansas, which is part of the Morris County USD 417 school district. Prairie Heights is located about 15 miles north of Council Grove and about 30 miles south of Manhattan. For the past 3 years I have taught at Prairie Heights. I have also resided in Manhattan. I teach grades 5 through 8 in the subjects of American, Kansas, and world history. I also teach world geography, economics, and technology. One thing when starting out here at Prairie Heights, I learned that the SPED subgroup had basically put the entire district on watch for AYP. And what we basically had to do was we had to implement the MTSS process for reading and math. And this was something at the time that was, I know it seemed kind of devastating for the school district, but as far as my learning curve and my knowledge goes, it really helped me learn about the whole MTSS process, and now it makes me feel comfortable in working like I do, because I do teach reading interventions and math interventions, but I also feel like as an administrator that I could implement this process into a school district. Throughout my education and teaching, I have also coached. Sports has played a big role in my life throughout. I started off through college. I coached middle school football at St. Mary's Colgan. I was assistant for 2 years and the head for 2 years. Upon taking the job here at Prairie Heights, they were an 8-man program, and so I was the head junior high football coach, 8-man, for 2 years. This past year, I was the head football coach, middle school, for a consolidated program of Council Grove and Prairie Heights, which are the 2 middle schools within our district. I have been the middle school wrestling coach for a combined Morris County 417 for the past 3 years, and I also have assisted with middle school girls basketball for 3 years, 2 of which were at Prairie Heights, and this last year we were at combined consolidation. I also have taught middle school track for 2 years, and this current year I am the assistant high school track coach at Council Grove. I think sports has played a major role in my life, which is also why I think starting out into the administration field, athletic director might be something or a career that I would look into. As far as it kind of seems kind of wild there about the consolidation, we actually did consolidate sports programs, Prairie Heights and Council Grove, this past year in the middle school. At the middle school grade level. And I will talk about those in those meetings here later on when I get into my activity log. Just one more time, Frontenac High School is where I graduated from. I went to Fort Scott Community College, graduated college at Pittsburgh State University, and now I'm currently seeking an administration degree from Fort Hays State University and hopefully going to acquire that this summer. My practicum goals: I'd like to gain confidence and experience in the role of becoming a building leader. I'd like to demonstrate proficiency in the school process and also in managing secondary, middle, and elementary school situations. Demonstrate an ability to collaborate and communicate with other administrators as well as faculty. Have an understanding in making decisions regarding the school budgets and also demonstrate effective application of the Interstate School Leaders Licensure Consortium standards. As an educational administrator, first responsibility is to develop a vision for the school building, a vision that is consistent with the goals of the entire district. As a building leader, your number one goal is to get a vision for your school building, but you need to base that school building off the district's vision, and you need to basically be interchangeable and work together. The administrator must be willing and able to work well with all stakeholders in the district if they have any chance of survival. You have to be able to work along with the students, the faculty, all the community in which your school building is at, but also the community in which your district is involved with. In my current situation, the district is involved in 3 different communities, and as an administrator, you need to be able to know basically kind of the climate of each one, because each community is different. The building leader must be the chief advocate of the school and district with the ability to protect the interests of their school, but also be able to promote the principles and practice of their school districts. The educational leader must be open to new ideas, push individual initiatives, and be able to help make things happen for your school. The administrator cannot be closed-minded. They have to be open to new ideas involving technology, new ideas that involve, even like I just talked about, consolidating a program. There's tough decisions to be made right now, especially in these economic times. And my administrative philosophy is you cannot be closed-minded. You need to be able to look at and evaluate each one individually. The day-to-day demands of being a building leader can make it easy to get wedged into logistic aspects, but one must be able to put time away for individual research and learning. And what I mean by that is working through this administrative process this past spring, I've learned that there are so many day-to-day things that a principal has to do and an administrator has to do that it could be very easy to stop learning and stop researching and stop trying to come up with new ideas to help improve your school and improve all stakeholders in your school. And that can't sit by the wayside because you're worried about day-to-day problems. You need to continue learning, continuing evolving as an administrator. My major goal was decision-making for integrating district-wide one-to-one iPads to basically one-to-one students. Help the district decide whether our school buildings are ready to start moving to paperless classrooms. Help the district decide if we should purchase textbooks or iPad or /laptops. Use my monthly technology training meetings to decipher what problems other one-to-one schools are encountering, and look at the budget to see if largely altering technology in the schools is even feasible in these economic times. We are looking at, as a district, in trying to move towards a paperless classroom. And the way we were going to do that and the way that we are wanting to do that is through iPads. And I'm going to talk about this goal a little longer when I talk about the activity log. But this was my one goal, whether our school was ready to go to a one-to-one iPad, laptop per student. And I will talk about my decision on those goals here later on. My activity log, basically I did 25 activities, 15 at the middle school, which is where I currently teach, and involved in 5 at the district and then 5 at a combined elementary and high school, for a total of 164 hours. My first thing I did was to go to a board meeting. You have to, and there's a few of these types of things that as an administrator you don't realize you need to go to. You just need to go to put your face out there. And these board meetings gives you a sense of every community's feeling on different situations, and it is important to be there and to pick up the the school climate, I guess I should say. Individual education plan. This was important because my administrator works in 2 buildings, so she appreciated that I was able to be here to sign off on some of these IEP meetings and be at some of these IEP meetings. But it also allowed me to know what goes on as far as the whole individualized education plan. And in this certain scenario, it was just basically getting this kid's IEP ready for next year when he goes into high school. And there's so many things that they're not always just giving a kid an IEP. There's a lot of different things as far as changing and getting him ready for the next level, and that's what this IEP was. hosted middle school National Geography Bee. I tried to get my feet wet into as many different activities in the school as I can. Tried to create and be a part of as many different functions of the school as I possibly can, and that's kind of what I did. Junior high wrestling tournament administrator. I mentioned it earlier that I think athletic director would be a spot that I would like to start off with when I obtain my administration degree. So I tried to, I can understand how to coach a lot of different sports, but being able to coach a lot of different sports is completely different than knowing the infrastructure of setting up and administering these tournaments and administering these sports. And so you'll see that I did a couple different, set up a couple different sports outings, I guess we'll say, and this was just one of them. Parent-teacher organization, PTO. This is PTO. The next one is site councils. Make sure you've got your face out there for the public. And so they always have an opportunity to know how you're feeling and you know how they're feeling, but you've got to make yourself readily available. Activity day, technology training. Now this is what I had talked about earlier as my major goal. Basically, I was sent off to meetings to decide whether or not our school was ready to go to one-to-one iPods in the classroom, and basically replace textbooks. And with me being the social studies teacher, and this next year is when social studies is going to be buying new textbooks, we wanted to decide which way we wanted to go. My overall decision was we're not ready. And maybe not ready far as, and I'm not really even talking about whether I'm ready to do it or whether other teachers are ready. I think that little things of the school are not ready. Economically, in these tough times, and we're cutting every little thing out, I don't know if this is the smart way to go. I don't even know if we have the bandwidth to support this type of system within the district. And another thing is I don't know if we even had the little details, like as far as insurance plan. What happens when we break an iPad or we break an iPod or break a laptop, whatever we decide to go with? How do we get these fixed? Do we have the budget to be fixing these? Are parents going to be on board? It is going to be a wave of the future. From my research, I think within the next 5 to 10 years, districts will be almost paperless. But as far as us economically and infrastructure-wise, we are not there yet. Extra opportunity lunch, study hall, just new creative ways to try to get the kids to learn. Evaluation, this is a part of the, you have to be able to evaluate teachers and give them constructive criticism and give them new instructional strategies, and that's what I was trying to do here. Middle school transportation, hosted the Scholars Bowl meet, just another thing, trying to understand the little ins and outs. State assessment supervision, Common Core. The state is headed this way, and being a first-year administrator coming out, I need to be able to get all teachers on board with this Common Core. Activity day, administrative elementary schools, professional PLC meetings, SAC meetings. It is so important that school districts align their curriculum because content is getting taught year in and year out, and we are basically tearing the puzzle apart each year when we should be building the puzzle together. And that's something, the main thing I learned in these SAC meetings was, gosh, there was a lot of content being taught over and over and over, and that can't happen. We're wasting each other's time and wasting the students' time. Elementary supervision, the KID system, familiar myself with the KID system for assessments. Middle school consolidation meetings. We decided this past year to consolidate sports programs, basically eliminate Prairie Heights sports systems, sports programs, and combine them with Council Grove. And it was tough, but it was a decision that, as an administrator, you need to be able to make. Parent-teacher conferences, high school track administrator, just another thing that if athletic director, you're going to need to know how to do. Elementary music supervisor, BLT meetings, and then the MTSS program. Like I said, I feel very confident in that whole thing, working with it for 3 years. My summary of reflection is kind of work through these right here, just going through each of the stages. I also here have my annotated bibliography. I basically tried to pick 10 different topics that dealt with education, dealt with technology and education, because that's kind of where I was going. And then my last part here is my summative evaluation, which is signed by my building leader principal. Cynthia Schrader, and she was very great working with me, and everything went very smooth. And that basically concludes my summit or my practicum.